wish we did. I got the breakout box. We had MEA test.
This week we had a lot of testing, and we've been working on our slideshows. This week we made Lowell posters. We also made immigration journals. Have a nice week.
Multi-purpose.
I'll give you with the corn fell off. No, thanks,
Mine?
yes. I found another light bulb.
That's really tiny.
It's not yours,
This week was fun because we had makerspace. I made a little toy that spins, but we had to do MEA testing. That was not fun at all, so goodbye. This week we started working on our Lowell posters. We have also been reading nonfiction, and last week we read a Scholastic News. On Friday is Enrichment Day.
Last week we went to the Lowell Mill. It was really fun. It was probably my favorite field trip ever. And we're also working on slideshows for our conferences. That is really fun. Have a good week.
This week we did Makerspace, and we were testing. We started slideshows for our conference. Last week we also had a field trip to Lowell. Last week we also were learning about waves. We learned about wavelength and amplitude. We also made posters for our field trip. This one's mine.
This week we're working on our slideshows for conferences soon.
This week we had Makerspace and we had a bunch of tests. We also made these, and they're the Life in Lowell Mills posters. Have a good weekend.
This week we had lots of testing and slideshows. This week and last week we have had a pretty busy week. We had our testing and our slideshows. We also had Makerspace. If you go onto the Crest Chronicle, I talked a little about Makerspace. We also went to the Lowell field trip. That was our busy week. Bye! This week we went to Lowell to learn about the Yankee Mail Girls and the immigrants. And this is what we did afterward. We got amplitudes in honor science class on Friday, and also we were doing MEA testing. And on Thursday, last week, we had a field trip.
This week we did Makerspace, the Lowell field trip. That was last week, but who cares? Testing. And we are finishing testing. We're doing our slideshows. And last but not least, partial clones and waves. And waves we learned amplitude and wavelength. Have a good
This week and last week were really different. Mostly because of MEA testing. Yesterday we did Makerspace, and we went on a field trip to Lowell Mills.
Last week we had 2 very busy weeks. We did all the MEAs, and we went to Lowell, Massachusetts, and we visited the mills. And we also had Makerspace. Have a good weekend.
We did partial quotients. We also had Makerspace yesterday, which I couldn't go to because I was sick. And yeah, so bye.
This week we just ended having the MEA tests. It was so boring. We also learned about wavelengths. Also, we went to Lowell. Have a good weekend.
This week we have been working on our parent conference slideshows. Also this week we have been doing MEA testing. Have a good weekend.
If you go really fast,
you're
waving it higher.
Yeah, if you do it really
Mr. Carter.
We had testing this week. We also had Makerspace and made cool stuff. We also got to do had our Lowell field trip. I think 2 weeks ago. I was gonna say 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, and recently we made these. And this one has got to be the best.
That's the best out of all of them. This week we're working on our slideshows for conferences soon.
Last week went to the Lowell Mill. It was really fun. It was probably my favorite field trip ever. And we're also working on slideshows for our conferences. That is really fun. Have a good week.